Welcome to the Anti-Hustle Business Podcast. I am your host, Shannon Whaley, and I'm here to help coaches, consultants, and service providers like you build profitable, sustainable online businesses without the hustle or the burnout that's so prevalent in the online space. I am here to show you that there is a totally different way to do business that doesn't leave you burnt the fuck out and hating your life. It's time to ditch the hustle culture and embrace a new way of doing business. So get ready to redefine success on your terms and build a thriving anti-hustle based business where you have more money, more naps, more travel, more freedom, more whatever the fuck you want in your life. So buckle up and let's dive in. Hi, friends. Welcome back to the podcast. So there is a lot going on in the world right now. I'm getting this out very late. There's just, as if you're clued in or tuned in to anything that's going on in the world, and especially in the US, you know that there are lots of discussions happening online about the assassination of Charlie Kirk and what comes with that, and all of the rhetoric and the racism and anti-trans rhetoric that just has been going around. And it felt weird not to acknowledge it. I want to do an episode about it, but I need to put my thoughts together a little bit more. And I wanted to make sure that we got one out this week. So I am going to put something together because a lot of the conversations that I've been having on the back end and with people in my community is how to speak up, to share your values, how to hold yourself through things like this, how to show up and actually sell, because there's this weird energy where there's pressure on people to speak up and talk about things maybe that they aren't educated on, they're not ready to talk about, they don't know what to do if trolls come on or if there's pushback. They're scared to be canceled, they're scared to get it wrong. So there's so many things that come up as soon as there's social unrest. And so I've talked about it in on the pod before. I can't think of the episode off the top of my head, but flip through that to see which episode I'm talking about, which is how to show up when there is civil unrest. And it's not for the weak. It takes a lot of self regulation and risk. It's not without risk. It's definitely confrontational. And it doesn't mean that you should stay silent. So if you've been in my spaces, if you follow me on the socials, you know that I am very vocal as a queer woman, as a straight passing queer woman, about the anti-racism work that I've done, the decolonization work, and equal rights, human rights across the board for everybody. And it hadn't always been like that. And the conversations that I'm having with my clients on calls and people in the DMs is really about how to show up right now, how to sell right now. So that episode, I want to put more thought into it. Like I said, I will be doing that next episode because this isn't dying down anytime soon. And so I want to make sure that I have the points that I want to share with you and have a bit more information. And then we can go from there. Today, what I do want to talk about, however, which does go hand in hand kind of with what's going on, is in terms of charging, what your expertise is worth, when to raise your rates, and how to raise your rates without having an identity crisis, without freaking out, blowing out your nervous system. And this is a part of business that makes really fucking good coaches and service providers who have big hearts. It makes them scared and nervous and sweaty and keeps them from raising their rates. This is a conversation that we will have over and over again. It's not like I'm just going to do one episode about it and then never talk about it again. So I'm talked about this in many different ways on different episodes. And you'll see me talking about this online in my group in all the spaces, because if you have been undercharging for your work and your services, it's not just about the money. It's not just a money problem. It's an identity shift. It's a mindset problem. It is a somatic issue because you're not just changing your prices. You're not just adding a zero. You're not just increasing your rates. You're actually in the process of challenging everything that you've been taught about value and worth and enoughness and what your work is allowed, air quotes, to be worth, what your time is, air quotes, allowed to be worth. Because we are taught how to be employees. We're not taught how to be entrepreneurs. We're taught how people tell us what our time is worth and what our skills are worth, right? By this is the salary grade for this company. They're telling you, and you can fight with them, you can find another company, right? But ultimately somebody else is setting your rates for you. And when you step into entrepreneurship, when you step into setting your own rates, you are in uncharted territory and likely have never been in this situation before. And it brings up so much stuff. So, in this episode, I'm walking you through how to raise your rates without the identity crisis and hopefully without losing clients, although we'll get into that part as well. So, first off, raising your rates, it's not greedy, it's not selfish, it's not out of reach, it's not impossible, it's not what other people do and you don't get to do this. Raising your rates is about alignment, it's about integrity, it is about sustainability. It is also about actively reflecting the depth and the value of the transformation that you provide, of the work that you provide. So if you've been resentful of how much you give in your programs and to your clients, if you feel like you're over delivering to make up for your low price or to substantiate your price, and maybe, and I see this all the time, maybe you're avoiding sales altogether because you feel underpaid or you feel like your prices are too high and you're not actually regulated at that level, truly at that level yet. So you're going to do weird shit to avoid sales calls, to avoid getting on the phone with people, and to avoid selling. So if that sounds like you, it's time to shift things because undercharging leads to burnout. It leads to being resentful. It leads to thinking that you don't wanna do one-on-one or that you hate doing X, Y, and Z, when actually it's just that you're not charging enough money for it yet. It also leads to overworking, overcompensating, and building a business that you eventually resent, getting clients that you eventually resent. And so you're not just raising your rates for the money, you're doing it to build a business that actually works for you. You're doing it to build a business that feels good, that leaves you feeling lit up, where the exchange that's happening feels like it is complementary. It makes sense. So I want to teach you how to raise your rates without spiraling and so that you are grounded in what you're doing. So what I want you to start to think about is anchoring into your value and the value of your services. So, I mean, first and foremost, look at your client results. What have they done? What changes have been made because of you, because of your work together? Who have they become? Are they charging more money? Are they living their best lives? Are they traveling now? Did they leave the relationship? Like, how much is that worth to somebody? I want you to really acknowledge how your skills in particular and how your support have evolved and have grown and have allowed you to support your clients in such a bigger, deeper way. And thinking about too, would you pay your current rates for the depth of what you offer? Would you pay your rates for what you're selling right now? And if not, then we need to clean that up because that's out of integrity. That's things aren't in alignment. And that's why you're blocking money, you're blocking sales calls, you're not reaching out to people. So, would I pay my current rates for the depth of what I offer now? Now, when you're thinking about the actual price, the rate increase, I want you to choose a number that stretches you, but that doesn't shock you, that doesn't blow your whole nervous system out. You don't need to double your rates overnight. Maybe you know where you want to go if you're at $500 a month, but you know that you want to be charging $1,000 a month. It doesn't mean just change them overnight. If you're not regulated to $1,000 a month, then that's not going to work for you. So many, myself included, so many of my clients have baby stepped their way, have increased their rates. Maybe like I'm going to sell 3 spots at this rate and then I'll raise my rates because they want to anchor into that new price point because this is a new identity that you're stepping into. Somebody who charges $1,000 a month. Well, if you're at $500 a month, the client that you're attracting who pays $1,000 a month is very different. They're at a different price point, they're at a different mindset, they're expecting different results at a different time period. And you need to give yourself time to step into that version of you who charges $1,000 a month. So, this is where the mindset work comes in. This is where the somatic stuff comes in. This is where feeling safe in your body with that much money, that level of a business, that level of a client, that is the work that has to take place behind the scenes with me, your coach, with a coach, with somebody. You can't do this shit by yourself. This definitely takes reflection. It takes somebody coaching you through this and holding you through this. Want to break free from the hustle and grind and build a successful business? I've helped thousands of clients and students leave their 9-to-5 jobs, travel the world, land their first clients, close 5-figure sales in the DMs, and grow their businesses to 6 and 7 figures. Want to know more? Visit antihustlebiz.com and transform your life and business the anti-hustle way. Okay, back to the show. I want you to choose a number that excites you, but it still feels doable. I want it to be stretchy and exciting, and I want you to shit your pants a little bit, but not to the point that your nervous system can't handle it. So check in with yourself, with your body. This is the embodiment practices that we practice in biz school and one-on-one, wherever we work together. But there has to be a mental and also a physical somatic component to this, because if you don't feel safe in your body, then none of this is going to work. Like literally none of your business is going to work. So important. The somatic piece is so incredibly important. Now, also on that, when you raise your rates, you're speaking now to a different person. So you need to also update your ideal client avatar and you need to update your messaging for this client. So, what I want you to do is practice saying this new rate out loud in the car, in the mirror, when you're in the shower, when you're pretending to do sales calls, when you're on a walk, wherever. Like, say it out loud. Yes, my coaching is $1,000 a month, and just be quiet. Like, let that sit, let it sit, let it just drop into your body. So, adjusting your sales pages, making sure that your offers reflect the value of this new price point, new offer, what needs to be upgraded? Do you need to take anything out that maybe doesn't reflect that new price point? And remember, you're not charging for your time, you're charging for for the transformation. And that is a big mindset shift that once you get over that hump, and I see a lot of brand new people coming into business and they're not used to this mindset shift, so they're charging for their time. And the first thing that I do with everyone who comes through biz school, everyone who comes to work with me, is if you're charging by an hourly rate, we move you into packages because there's so many different reasons why we do this. I've done an episode on this, I'm sure, over the year that I've been doing the podcast. By the way, celebrated a year. I need to do something for that as well. That just kind of like slipped past. It was the end of August, I believe, when I celebrated a year of the podcast. So that's very exciting. Okay, so the next part of this is now thinking about when you are raising your rates, are your current clients locked in at the current rate and they'll be locked in? Is there legacy pricing? Or do you need to give them a 90-day notice that your rates are going to increase as the time goes by? So you get to decide what feels best for you. I've done both. I've done legacy pricing, where if you stay working with me, we will stay at this rate. And I've done that the price has gone up, and I tend to do legacy pricing. So as long as we are working together, you're just locked in at this rate. But if you leave and you want to come back, then it'll be the new rate. So that's also encouragement to keep them, to keep renewing with you. But eventually they're done working with you. And so then now you have a spot open for this new rate. You don't need like a long justification speech or email that goes with it. You can just state your new rates with confidence. Tell them that, it's been a couple years or however long it's been since you've given yourself a raise. And I mean, and if you want to include the new training, if you have new credentials, if you have anything like that, as I start to consider going for my MCC, my rates will increase simply because I have this new credential. It's like getting a degree, right? So if you're a bachelor's level clinician, then when you get your master's degree, obviously your rates would increase. So if you want to use your credentials as a reason, you get to present this the way that feels best for you, but do not get stuck in over explaining why you're doing this. So, how you present the number teaches people how to receive it. So, if you're excited and you are proud and it's just like a non issue, then that is how people will ideally receive it. And the last part of this is supporting yourself after you give yourself the raise. So, really normalize the doubts and the wobbles that come up. So, this is part of growth, it's part of your expansion, it's part of you stepping into this next level of business and of being, really. Journal your way through the money stuff if you don't already have. Well, it was broke to bougie. And of course, I can't think of what we renamed it. Oh god. Hold on. Conscious money. Duh. If you don't already have that, I will put that in the show notes so that you can grab my money program, because that is going to help you cover all of your money stuff, teach you how to raise your rates unapologetically. It's a digital course that you can grab. There's no, coaching with it, but there's great pieces in there to help you work through your money stuff. So this is how you are going to work through any of the scarcity spirals, any of the money stories that are coming up, the beliefs that are popping up, the not good enough, who the fuck do you think you are? Why are you trying to outperform whoever, your partner, your family, whatever? So that's a great place. So we'll put the link to Conscious Money in the show notes. And then make sure that you're surrounded by people who charge what you want to charge. Be around other people who are going big in their businesses. Maybe you don't tell some of the people in your normal life like what you're doing, because if they've given you shit before or if they're not fully supportive, you telling them that you have a $10,000 coaching package is going to fucking blow their minds, and in not the best way possible. And so when you start to raise your rates, you get more selective on who you're talking to about your business, especially the financial piece. And once you start making money and you start moving in those higher months, your 5-figure months, 6-figure years, multiple 6-figure years, you want to make sure that you are surrounded by other people who get the money stuff, who are turned on, who love to hear you brag, who can't wait to hear about how fucking great you're doing and how much money you're making. It makes them just like light up. They're super pumped. Maybe they're a little bit jealous, but they know that activation is because they want it so bad. And so they're not going to shame you or make you feel bad about it. I cannot stress this enough that you need to be around people who are doing big shit in the world. That is why I have my Facebook group. That's why I have Facebook groups for my programs, because you need to be around other people who are going big, who are thinking bigger, who are dreaming bigger, because that will change everything about how you show up. Now, let's talk about the fear, which is very valid. What if nobody buys at my new rate and people are going to drop off? And just be prepared for that. So, what do you need to do before this happens to hold yourself through it? How can you make it okay? That space creates room for the next aligned client who's ready to meet you at your new level. That space is creating the energy and the space for a fully aligned, cannot wait to pay you $1,000 a month client. You're not here to be the most affordable person on the internet, coach, consultant, whatever you're doing. You are here to serve at the depth and capacity that aligns with your values, with your nervous system, with your vision, with your dreams, with the life that you want to be creating, the business that you want to be creating. And so the more that you honor that, the more that your marketing and your sales and your delivery begin to really reflect the leader that you are, the coach that you are now stepping into this next version of you, which then becomes a permission slip for your client to do the same thing in their own way, whatever you're doing. So, one thing that I said earlier this season was that every episode is going to have a freebie. And I tested that out for what, 9 episodes. And I'm just going to be honest, it didn't go the way that I wanted it to go. And so I do not have a freebie for this episode. And I probably won't have them for the rest. I was really hoping to get some people signed up, and that hasn't been what this has looked like. So I am giving myself permission to pivot, which I hope gives you permission to pivot. So when things aren't working, I feel like I gave it the old college try. It was 9 weeks of opt ins that just didn't perform the way that I wanted them to. So there's no freebie for this episode. But if you want to talk about how to raise your rates, if you want to talk about what you should do and what this can look like, just send me a message on Instagram at the Shannon Whaley. Let's talk about it. Let's have a conversation. I want to support you through this. If you want to come and join us in business school, then this is where we're having these conversations in front of other people. I have some spots open for one-on-one if you want to do it more privately. So you get to decide what feels best for you. Just remember that you're not just charging more, you're leading more powerfully. You are stepping into this next version of you. And that shift changes everything. It changes everything for you, and it changes everything for your clients as well, because now you are energetically more aligned with your future, with that future you, with your future business owner. If you've been doing the journaling on 6-figure you, this shift changes everything. It moves you closer to that version of you. And then you get to bring your clients along for the ride because they get to see you model that for them. And now they have a permission slip to go bigger as well. So that's what I got. That's it for today. Come find me on Instagram. Thank you so much for listening and being here, and go raise your rates with confidence. All right. I'll be back next week. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Anti-Hustle Business Podcast. I hope you found inspiration in the message and that you got some actionable next steps that you can implement right away in your business to start seeing results and moving the needle. Remember, you don't have to sacrifice your well-being or your mental health to achieve success. So prioritize your pleasure, play, and rest while you build your business around your life. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Your feedback helps me reach more entrepreneurs like you who want to do business in a completely new way. For more resources and to connect with my community, please visit my website at antihustlebiz.com and follow me on Instagram at @TheShannonWhaley. Until next time, keep taking those strategic anti-hustle steps toward building the business and life that you love. Take care.